Welcome to the Diner Podcast, where we eat our lunch for breakfast. Hello and welcome to the Diner Podcast. I am your host, Red Velvet. With me as always is Uncle Lump.
Hello.
And today is an OG pod.
It's actually getting warm outside and I'm still sitting on a heating pad.
Well, that's because you're older age. You're not old. I won't say we're old. We're 35, 36, but you stepped it up in the gym a little bit. And once you get to those 6 to 8 to 10 rep ranges, your body at the last couple is like, everything we got. And then that's when you pull something.
I got sloppy. I got tired and sloppy. And yeah, I've always done like the 8 to 10. And I've slowly upped the weight, but it's been like the 5-pound increments and whatever. And I got to that point. I forget. I think my wife said something about like wanting to go heavier or wanting to like bulk up, or I forget what it was.
Heavier weight, or wanted you to get heavier. Which one?
Oh, I don't know. She's already dealt with me being heavier. I don't think she wants to go back to that world.
Like, you're looking a little skinny there, pal. Put some weight on your bottom.
Put on some weight, man. Like, you're getting too skinny. No, I found a testosterone stack from First Farm, I think's what it was. That
Animal
started to. No, it's not like an illegal one. It's one you can just like buy at the supplement store. So I didn't go back into that world again because I don't like needles. That scares me, and I'm not a fan. I've passed out numerous times, and apparently I have like seizure type things whenever I pass out. So
what you're saying is you would not like a 17 gauge needle going in your arm.
No, I don't like any needles. They immediately make me like everything turns white and I pass out. I've passed out like on an elevator before. I got my blood taken and we walked into the elevator and I was like, "Hey, I'm going down." And
your blood was taken on an elevator?
No, we were upstairs and they were sending us back down afterwards. And I got into the elevator and I was like, "Hey, everything's turning white." And I think I was with my dad then, and he was like, "Oh shit," caught me. And I went with,
well, that's like the blind leading the blind there. Isn't he afraid? Like, he don't like needles either.
No, I get it very, very naturally from my father because he does the exact same thing. So, but then I went to have blood drawn for just like a checkup or something. And I was sitting up and they were drawing it. And I looked at the lady and I was like, "Hey, just FYI, I tend to pass out whenever I get my blood drawn." And I woke up, I don't know how long later, but I had a whole team of people standing around me. And apparently I passed out and had a seizure that time. And I did not know that was something that happened. And they were like, "Yeah, sometimes that'll happen when you pass out." So I guess going forward, I have to lay down and I have to have my feet up when I give blood or any of those types of things. If not, I will pass the fuck out. And it happens every single time. It makes no sense at all. It scared the shit out of my wife because she did not know that happens. And she went with me for most of these. And every time it happened, she was like, especially the first time, that was when we had the team of doctors around me. And I woke up to a whole plethora of people and I was like, "What in the hell is going on?" They're like, "Well, you passed out and then you had a seizure and we were afraid you were going to fall off the table thingy." And I was like, "Oh, okay, well, shit." And dude, it fucked me up for that entire day. If I remember correctly, like I could not like come out of that mental fog. It was super weird. It was one of the more scary ones.
Really? Well, so what you're saying is plasma donation will not be in your future.
No, remember what I told you whenever you asked if I wanted to go with you? I was like, "No, I'm terrified of needles and I will legitimately pass out." And then I didn't have a license then either. So
well, you got to stay awake too. You can't sleep or pass out.
Yeah. Well, it isn't like I tried to sleep. I just passed the fuck out and it's kind of uncontrollable. Apparently needles and tequila are the two things that make me pass out and have no. At different times, but apparently both of those things make me go out and not remember shit about what happened.
I got you now. Yeah. So, I remember one time when I was in 8th grade when I was having to go to the hospital a lot, having my treatments and stuff. It was summer.
When you OD'd on Mountain Dew?
I think it was more than that because I had Pseudomonas, which is like an old
Oh,
person's thing, and nobody could figure it out. And that was that's where I always made the joke it was from Mountain Dew, but it's not. They said that could have contributed to it, like it was an anomaly, like
well,
that
yeah,
I
because
got
obviously, as we're learning now, you were essentially just aiding to what was going on because you were kind of poisoning it with the Mountain Dew.
probably. And I there was one point. So the first time I got it, it was 5 days in the hospital,
Oh,
and I got put on academic or attendance probation during that too.
that is the dumbest rule. We'll get back to that here
Well,
momentarily.
yeah, well, let's circle back to that
Yeah,
because
we will circle
it was
back to that one
awesome.
because
My
I have.
dad lost his mind.
Oh yeah,
Um,
it's stupid.
but then, so we fast forward, like that was October-ish of 2000, I don't know, 2, I think, 8th grade, 2000, 2003. And then I'm good till the end of school. Well, it comes back and it's in the summer, and I had to go to 10 days of outpatient IV treatments twice a day.
Wow.
And the funny story is,
Were
well,
they just trying to like flush your system out, basically?
basically, because once again, I mean, I went to doctor after doctor. I went to like communicable disease specialist. I went
Oh
to
shit, I didn't know
all
any of this.
sorts. I saw all sorts of different things. I mean, apparently it's pretty fatal. Nobody told me. So,
Well, yeah, well, as a kid though, they probably didn't want to tell you that
well,
because then you would have just panicked the whole time, and
yeah.
that
But
always I had no idea.
oh yeah, it was. I didn't know, but I didn't know it was that fatal until my 30s. So, but there was just a lot going on. And but one of the funny stories that happened was during the outpatient, because I had to go at 9 in the morning and 9 at night, and it was the nighttime, and I had to sit in the ER and just get an IV drip,
Yeah.
and I fell asleep. Well, one of the people who helps run a funeral home here in town, family friend and everything, but he was there to pick up somebody who passed away, and he just noticed mom and dad sitting over there, so he came over to just talk to him, and I'm passed out, dude. I'm just sleeping, and I wake
Yeah.
up, and he's standing over me, and I'm like,
Oh shit.
what happened? Like I'm in sheer panic
Oh,
because I'm like, because he had like the suit
what
and everything
horrible
on,
timing.
yeah, and I'm like, and he goes, no,
Like, I'm not dead.
he goes,
Please
no,
leave
no,
me.
no, not here, no, you're fine. I'm like, woo,
How
imagine
old
being
were
12
you?
years old and seeing that.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Yeah. Because you're old
Yeah.
enough to kind of like understand, but you still don't
Well, man, and
understand.
like I've known him for a long time. I knew what his job was. I knew like they had to pick up bodies from time to time.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
I was just sleeping. Please don't.
he wasn't there when I
leave
went
me.
to sleep. And I was like, whoa, bro. But
Holy shit.
yeah,
That's insane.
yeah. But we'll circle back to when, they ended up like blood. It all started. I remember I was sick, burned when you peed because you're
Yeah.
dehydrated and stuff like that. And I just kept saying, but my kidneys always hurt. Like I had a kidney infection, Pseudomonas, all that stuff. And
I would
finally,
say the Mountain Dew contributed heavily
that
to
I would
that.
have said didn't
Like,
help. The dyes
based
and
off,
whatnot. What we're learning more about
yeah.
dyes is,
Because think about all that yellow dye that obviously they haven't banned that one yet, but
no.
it has a whole lot of adverse side effects. And if you were drinking that much on top of the sugar and I mean, shit, there's a whole.
Honestly, my diet was not the best because middle school kid, you ain't gonna eat good.
Also, back then we didn't know shit, so there wasn't all this information that what we were being fed is all poisonous bullshit. Like, and it like, I don't know. I don't think we've talked about it on a podcast yet, but we were talking about I was just like with business and all these different like startup companies, and then they start doing the like adding people on or people buying in, and it's like, oh, it's a pyramid scheme. Well, look at every corporation, they're all pyramid schemes. What do you call CEOs and managers and supervisors and employees? Like you're building a pyramid. They're all the exact same. It's just those businesses are trying to get off the ground and build. These businesses have already taken over the world, and now they're in every state and they own the corporations. I wonder why they would want those business startups to be called pyramid schemes and people want to stay away from them. Like it's all the same structure. You're building the same thing. You started as a person, and then you have people underneath you, and then you become a Walmart that has the umbrella of all these people underneath. And like, how do you look at that other than a bigger, gigantic pyramid? Like that's pretty much what it is. It's just a weird, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, weird observation that it gets looked at like a
Yeah.
pyramid.
Well, but you got to think. I mean, the '90s, the '80s, '90s, and early 2000s, we
It,
didn't know, and
no,
it was
that
just that
information
was just
wasn't
normal.
there.
That was just normal stuff. You know, you go get a Pepsi for dinner, and nobody
Yeah.
thought the wiser. And that's where like I did. Let's see. I'm trying to remember everything here. I remember one day, as a Saturday morning, I woke up and I was fucking sweating. I mean, sweating bullets, but I was cold. I was shivering.
Yep.
I ended up having 103 fever. They rushed me to the ER, and I sat there. And then, like, they made me take X-rays. I don't know why. Like, you have a fever, they want you to take X-rays. I don't get that, but
Well,
whatever.
because they make more money off of it.
Oh,
We're
well,
learning
yeah,
exactly why.
that's true. But
Then
so
they can
then,
bill you for $100,000 for X-rays.
yeah. Well, so I was going to the doctor about once every couple of weeks by then. But then it got so bad, they're like, "Yeah, we got to put you in the hospital," and I'm like, "Ah!" So it was. I remember, since I was so young, they put me in a room by myself, which was totally cool. Except the first night, I did have a roommate who came in later. Ended up being one of my parents' former students.
Oh,
No, not that cool. Not that
yeah.
cool. But
At least you knew him, though, I guess.
I didn't know him.
Oh.
It was mom and dad knew him. I didn't know who this guy was.
Oh, okay. I thought
And
it was like someone you'd ran into before. I'm like, well, at
no,
least it
and
made
the
it like
bells and
somewhat
whistles going
familiar.
off all night. He wouldn't shut the hell up. I'd
Oh, that
share
sounds
TV with
terrifying.
him. But like that whole week, I watched literally like 2 movies because that was all that was on. I watched Con Air and Murder in Greenwich. That was
Oh,
all
there
that
you
was
go.
on.
That's
And now
a
I will not
terrible.
watch Con Air ever again because I
Yeah, it
watched.
gave you like a PTSD from that movie.
No, I just got tired of watching it. I'm like, dude, I've seen this movie like 12 times in 5 days. But the cool thing was I always had to pee in a bottle. Like they made me pee in a bottle to gauge the hydration or whatever.
Okay.
Well, my brother got there one day to hang out with me. I will give him props on that. He hung out with me about every night.
That's nice of you.
I couldn't get the cap on the bottle. I was like, "Hey man, can you get this cap on? I can't do it." He's like, "Yeah." It's like my brother's about to keel over. I'm gonna at least cap his pee. He ended up like shaking it. And he got my pee on him, and it was hilarious.
Oh, that sucks. That's
Yeah,
the worst.
it is
I
what it
guess it
is.
could have been worse.
But yeah, they put me on attendance probation that day or that week or whatever.
That
And my dad called, and you know my dad, he doesn't get fired up too much.
Yeah.
He's pretty well reserved. Lost his mind on the attendance director at the time, and then they revoked
you can't help that. Like,
no, they took it back. But
well, that's what's insane is like, and they do that stuff now where like you can only miss so many days, but then like they don't want you to send your kid sick, and then there's all these different flus and shit that comes where these kids are legitimately getting sick, and then you're getting berated by these people sending home letters and such telling you not to do this or to do this, and it's like, hey, what what do you want us to do here? Because we're kind of at a lose-lose where like you don't want me to send my kid sick, I don't want to send my kid sick. Like I do my due diligence every morning to make sure that I'm making the right decision, and like I assume most parents do that, where you're just like there's no manual on life, there's no like there's plenty of books and shit on parenting and all these things, but like we're all just trying to do our best, and the fact that it's like you get like berated by like you're in trouble, where it's like, hey, I can't help how like they're getting sick all the time. Like I mean, during COVID, everyone was cleaning all this shit like crazy. Now COVID's gone, flu's come back full force. And why are we taking the same precautions? Like, did we learn things from COVID, or are we washing hands? Or like, there's a lot of things that play into it. And then you get like that. It's like, no shit. Like, I want them to go to school too. I'm not trying to keep them home, but they're getting sick every 2 goddamn days. So what would you like me to do?
Trust me, the parents want the kids to go to school.
Oh, and like I've seen, and this is obviously a countrywide thing, because I've seen there's been so many videos. This lady talked about, she went off, it was going viral on Twitter the last couple of days, but she was doing a video going off about it because she got a letter and she's like, my kids have been sick like 100 times, our house caught on fire, like this happened, that we've had death in the family, we've had this, like what do you want me to do? And I would assume that a lot of the funding that goes into the schools is based off of attendance, which I mean, I get like you, but I don't think they should be incentivized the same way as like an employee of this company. Like you got to be able to think outside the box and get different ways to figure these things out, where it's like, but it's the same thing we've talked about a million times, and it almost comes across like they're breeding employees of these jobs rather than teaching kids. And it's like, well, what's the curriculum for then here if this is what we're doing? Like the spending however what their school 7 hours and 6 of it spent on a computer screen, like that's probably not great for the eyeballs. Like there's tons of stuff about what is it, 7:30, 7:50
like
to
8 to
2:30.
3:30.
Yeah, so yeah, about 8 hours. So but then they're on a screen, like the blue light fucks with your eyes, gives you the headaches, and like it's just, I don't know. Then like you look at like we've walked into those breakfast things and like all the stuff with nutrition, and then the stuff that they're giving these schools to give the kids is 16 gram of sugar things of chocolate milk, or a 12 gram of sugar thing of orange juice, and then donut sticks. And then these kids are crashing at 1 o'clock and they're losing their shit in the morning. And it's like, oh, I don't understand. Well, yeah, because it's what they're being pumped full of. Like if they have 2 of those cartons of milk, it's equivalent to a can of Mountain Dew. Like you're getting the same sugar. There's not like
Mountain Dew.
Well, there's not like the little water bottles. Like why are those all the options? But like those teeny water bottles that you can get a shitload of for very, very cheap, like that's not being pumped in there where like they have that as an option. Like I get it. I don't, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense the way it's set up. Cause then like there's all these health food signs all over all of these schools all over the country too. And then that's what they're getting. And it's awesome that like it's free in a lot of areas and that kind of stuff, but cost effective, I would assume water is a hell of a lot cheaper than all of the other stuff that's being sent in there. Like I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of.
Do you remember the milk in the bag?
Yeah, that was a horrible, horrible idea. I don't know who came up with that, but that was like the worst, because you just stabbed, like you had to be like a surgeon. Like you had to go in like at an angle and get it just right. Otherwise you pop straight through the damn thing and then it spilled all over the table.
Yeah, I was always nervous because I was like, man, because they told you, do not spray people with this. Well, I'm doing my best, but there's a 3 technique thing here I got to do. And I'd always either go too hard, go through the thing, or it wouldn't pop it. And I was a nervous wreck at lunchtime.
I wonder, I assume that was like everywhere, right? Like that wasn't just us. Like I'm assuming
that was Prairie Farms' way to cut costs on cardboard or something. Okay. And they're like, we're going to do this. And
I wonder how many spills a day were averaged in lunchrooms across.
Could you imagine? Schools? So just in elementary school, there was some issues. Could you imagine middle school or high school with them bags?
Yeah, because they'd just be throwing them at each other and just smacking them off each other's heads and shit. Like I feel like that would just be. I mean, because it's like it just looks like a cornhole bag full of milk. It's pretty much what we were drinking.
It's a horrible design flaw, but whatever.
It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's just.
But I think wasn't it just chocolate milk? I think white milk was still in the car.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was just chocolate milk, and it was like, I wonder if it was like an idea to just do something different to get people, because like it's a lot of psychology too, where you just change things up to give a different visual. Same thing they did when they tried to do like the purple and green ketchup and the weird shit. Where
I love that.
Disgusting. I thought it was horrible. I couldn't do it.
I love the different colored ketchups. I wish they'd still do it.
Oh, dude, it fucked with me mentally. I couldn't it grossed me out. I couldn't do it.
Oh man, like the green. I love the green ketchup. Purple was okay, but green, dude,
it's like SpongeBob's Pretty Patties.
Do you remember in the like late 90s? Everything was. All the electronics were like see-through, but they were different colors. Like they had the computer with the purple back, and you could see inside the machine.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I wish they'd bring that back. That was so cool.
They have in some facets where like you can build those PCs now where like you can see the insides of them and they're all like glow and they do all the cool shit.
Well, there's a problem. I have to build it. I can't build that.
Well, you can have people build it for you, but it's going to cost you like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I'm good.
And that's the problem, because then like I'm old and I would use it to like do things like this, and that's not, I can't imagine that that's necessary.
It's like
I don't. Pretty much, yeah. I do this. I build graphics on a couple different programs, and beyond that, that's pretty much what this thing's used for.
What?
And
So back in school days, because now I'm in the past. What was your go-to? What was your favorite lunch? What was like when they announced the lunch menu? What was
ooh,
your favorite day?
okay, so in middle school, I don't know if this ever happened more than one time, but one day we had these like giant fucking soft shell tacos that took up the entire plate. But I think we only had this like a couple times or maybe once, but I remember that one being good, but chicken patty was my all-time favorite.
Chicken patty?
Chicken patty was my all-time favorite. I still to this day, like, I went and hung out with my kids at school for lunch a couple times back in the early days, and I purposely would pick the chicken patty day because I'm like, oh hell yeah, we're getting the chicken patty. I
Well,
would schedule it around that. But yeah, chicken patty was all-time favorite. But do you remember the random taco that I'm talking about?
vaguely.
I
Vaguely.
don't know why that, but I
I think that
just
was a
remember.
once a year treat.
Yeah, it was like we had this like gigantic soft shell taco, and for some reason that like stuck with me as a core memory. I guess I'm
Oh man.
not real
I
sure.
remember chicken nugget day, dude. It was always my favorite.
Was that yours?
Chicken nugget day. Then when we got to Northview, they gave us seasoned fries on like Mondays. You're
Oh
like,
yeah.
what is this? High school's so cool.
Did you like the pizza?
Eh.
I hated it. I was
I would
always.
so like on Fridays, they always had fish Fridays. Do you know
Mhm.
why they always had fish Fridays?
Isn't it because the like Lent stuff?
Yeah, it's religious. I think it's Catholics would
Yep.
do that. They had to eat fish on Friday.
Yeah.
But that was the only day I'd really eat pizza, unless it was a day where I was like, I'm
Ooh, I
not
forgot
eating.
about the fish sandwich. I didn't mind the fish sandwich.
Nope, nope.
What was
And
your least favorite?
I probably fish because that's the one that sticks in my mind. Because I was just like, I'm not eating that. And it was,
Pizza
but it
was
was a
definitely.
consistent thing. Whereas like there'd be some days, like I know early high school, there'd be days I'd be like, just give me a tray of fries. Like when it was season Friday. Oh yeah,
Yep, just
you
eat
give
the
me.
fries and
Then they had the
so
a la carte. You can go get
yeah,
these
you can always
nachos.
get extras.
Yeah, that's probably why we got all fat. Everybody's going to the a la carte, getting their
Oh
lunch from the
yeah.
a la carte.
Well, because you get that like that freedom, and we're all going through puberty and growing and adolescence, so you're just starving all the time, and they give us free reign to just be like, yeah, just throw 4 sandwiches on there, fuck it. Like,
Oh, dude, like the ribeye sandwiches. Yeah, I get 2 of those. Be like extra nuggets. Get extra fries. Oh, my lunch was like $5.
It's where all of our bad eating habits started.
True. Do you?
Well, because then you could buy like the Star Crunches and
Yeah.
brownies and like the drinks and pop and all that shit too. So we were eating horribly. Ooh, I just remembered the burrito with the yellow cheese on it was always a really, really good one.
Yes.
That was a solid one. The chicken legs were good, but they were always too damn small.
They were okay. Like it was like, oh, it's something different, but it was too much work.
Yeah, it was a lot of work, and there was not a whole lot of meat on the chicken. So it was almost like that tease where you just eat like an appetizer, and then you're like, I am starving. I need to
Yeah.
eat my food.
The thing that baffled me was they had a salad bar in middle school. It's like, who eats salad in 7th grade? Not me.
Hindsight, we should have instead of eating all the bullshit that we
No, I'm
ate
pretty happy
early.
with my life choices. So that's where I'm at with it.
I've spent the last 2 years trying to redo my life choices, so I feel slightly opposite.
I've come to terms with this is the way God made me, and that's how I'm rolling with life. But
That's fair.
I mean,
But
go
we've
ahead.
talked about that. I think if you're happy and it's not a bothersome thing for you and it's not like hindering your life, then that's what you do. Then who gives a shit? Like that's kind of where it plays into who gives a fuck what everybody thinks. If you're in the right headspace and it works for you and you're like because you're also not doing nothing. You're watching what you're eating to an extent. You're still
Mhm.
walking. Like you're not doing anything, and there's a ton of benefits to walking. That's been my advice to I've had a couple people reach out and ask about things that I've done, and that's my advice to everybody is find 10 minutes sometime in the day to just go walk. Like even if it's just that and you're listening to music and you're decompressing, especially now that it's getting warm, like that helps so much. Like I've felt that just in the last day where my mentality like I got so much shit done in the last couple of days because the weather's getting nicer. I feel better. I'm waking up and it's like, oh fuck yeah, I don't have to go outside and freeze my balls off.
Winter
Like,
blues are ending.
yeah. So you kind of get that like pep in your step again, and you start getting back after these things and you feel better. And I think it all like plays into that and your mentality and just getting outside and walking or going and like shit, just walk around your house. Like listen to music and just walk around your house and clean. Like, but just keep moving, like walk. And you'll be amazed at what your body starts doing. But then, like I've said before, you become, for me anyway, I know I have an addictive personality. I will dive straight into, you've got to see this firsthand because I am annoying as fuck whenever I get passionate about something and I am addicted to it and I see where I want it to go. I can be very, very overbearing and annoying. And I'm well aware of this, but that's me being passionate about it and loving this, but I get it. Like, but being able to, I don't know, garner that mentality and just check out and start walking, but you become addicted to that feeling. I became addicted to like I am terrible at waking up in the morning. It's a struggle. It's been like that my whole life. Like my dad would come in whenever I lived at home in my early working days, and my alarm had been going off for half hour, and I'm still
Oh my
dead
Lord.
to the world, and he's beating on my door. Hey, you got to get up. Like I remember going to school and like in the morning, people would be like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And I'm like, "I'm tired." And like that was my life forever. And then I started realizing the better I ate and the more I worked out, the easier that was, where I'm not hitting snooze 3 times and then sleeping through. Now, don't get me wrong, I still hate it. And if anyone has the like secret formula to not feel like you want to strangle people when you wake up in the morning, please let me know, because it's like that initial, my alarm goes off and I'm like, fuck, I want to go back to bed. And granted, it's like 6:30, 7 o'clock when that happens, but it's, I don't know. I've always been like that. I hate getting up early. I hate that feeling, but the more I am in the gym, the more I cut out the snacking at night, the more I'm eating healthy earlier dinners. If you go walk after dinner, especially when it gets warm, that grogginess when you wake up becomes less and less. Like then I'm getting shit done around the house, and then that's helping my mentality because then things are clean, things are organized, and it's like, oh cool. Like, or I'm getting shit done with the podcast, I'm getting shit done with our business, and then I'm like, you feel that accomplishment too. So then you build on these wins over and over again, and then you start becoming addicted to that, where now I know, like, is McDonald's still delicious? Fuck yeah, it is. But it makes me feel like I just swallowed a boulder. And so it's one of those where it's like, I'll get those crazy cravings where I'm like, oh, I'm doing it. I don't care. I'm going to get a Big Mac. But then I eat it and I look at my wife and go, don't let me do that ever again.
Why did I do that?
And that's how it goes. But it almost like kicks me back into that world where I'm like, okay, I've got to get back into my routine because I start feeling like shit. But then I'll get like lazy when I start doing it. If I start falling off my diet and my routine, I start lounging around watching TV. I start playing video games, which are all fine, but then I do it all day long and I have no drive to do shit. And it's like, oh, okay, we can't fall into this cycle. And it was from when I got sick. I got sick for a couple of days and I just laid around watching TV because I didn't feel like doing anything. And then it's like breaking yourself out of that mold where it's like, all right, we gotta like kick shit back into gear, man. Let's go.
I gotta move.
Pretty much like, and I've told you, I get bored. Like I can't sit for very long. Like people who watch our shit probably, I fidget like I'm on coke all the time. Like people probably think that I am on drugs. I'm not. I just literally can't sit fucking still. So like I'm always just moving around or tapping or like I just like constantly. So when I don't have shit to do, I'm like, I need something. I've got to do something. And it like, but I'll start getting out of that where I start eating like shit. I got sick or I don't go to the gym, whatever. And it's like, you get that like lethargic, you feel like shit mentally. And like what we're doing is not super easy mentally sometimes. Like you're you're on, not on, because we're ourselves all the fucking time. Like there's not really a difference.
Well,
But
it's just the volume's turned up basically.
yeah, like when we do the wrestling stuff, you're ramping that volume up to 10 and going hard. So then by the end of it, it's like, whoa, like I am beat. But you start, same thing, you just develop that, I don't know, that callous to it, I guess, and or like trying to figure it out, trying to run a business, trying to maintain a business. Like there's a lot of steps and levels to what we're trying to accomplish. So like that mentally starts creeping in, where like that imposter syndrome starts coming in, or that doubt, or the lack of confidence. Like for me, that all coincides with the gym. Like if I'm not in the gym and I'm not eating the way I want to, all of those things start kind of poking and creeping, and it's like, ooh, I don't like this. Like, and for me, the way to get those to go away is getting in the gym and getting my diet, because then that mentally, that confidence stays there, that like that drive, that focus, like it seems to all, for me, coincide with those things. So that's kind of my motivation to keep it going, because I know what I feel like, vice versa, where I don't want to go back to that world,
right?
Or I can't bend over and tie my shoes, or like hang out and do shit with my kids because I'm exhausted and winded and I legitimately can't function. Like, and that was when I was upwards to the 300 pounds. That's what it was all the time. Like I was on the, like it was leave home, go to work, come home, on the couch. Like that was pretty much, and then I'd get up and answer phone calls or whatever. But if I had free time, it was sitting on the couch, not wanting to function as a human at all, because you're just drained.
Mm-hmm. No, when you were big boy, were you on medication at all to like help with that, or
no? I've never, even now, like I've stayed away from everything. The only vitamins I take is I take a 5,000 D with K2, and then I take magnesium, and then currently I'm on a testosterone stack from First Farm, whatever the hell that one's called. But I got it at that. I think it's A&S Nutrition in Terre Haute.
Okay.
But I got it over there, and now I added creatine to my pre-workouts in the morning. But other than that, I don't take anything. I never, like, I always tried the fad diets, where like I would try
Atkins. Did you try Atkins?
I mean, like varieties of it. Like I never like went full fledged, because some of that shit's so expensive. And so I would try like the variations, the whether it was the carnivore, the like trying to cut out sugar, whatever. But the problem with a diet is you're giving yourself the end game, and there isn't. Like it if you're not willing to like make it a lifestyle change, where if right now you're eating 80% shit, 20%, watching what you're eating and paying attention and trying to eat clean, healthy, whatever you want to call it, flip-flopping, that's the key. And if you can do that, and you just start by just adding, like, where, okay, now I'm 50-50. Now I'm flip it 60-40 the other way. And it's the same thing. You start feeling that difference of, oh, when I eat these things, I'm feeling great. I have energy. And you stop craving them. Fasting's another big one to cut the cravings. If you can't cut the cravings, just suffer through the one day, get through it. That next morning, you're going to feel phenomenal. And then start slowly reintroducing yourself to stuff like 11 o'clock in the afternoon or before the afternoon. And that's kind of been the way I reset my body. If I'm craving stuff, I'll fast for a day and reset. And then it's like, okay, now I can kind of get myself back. But it's not a perfect thing, and you're never going to be perfect at it. You're always going to have cravings. You're always going to want stuff. You're always, like, and that body dysmorphia is, I think we've talked about that before too. It's a fucking real one, where like, even though I think I'm down to like 190, 200-ish currently from where I was at before. And still I'll look at myself and it's like, oh, I need to lose that, or like, I need to work harder, or I need to stop eating this, whatever. But like, we did that thing for the basketball team, and I ate a couple of the brownies. I ate a couple slices of pizza, but then I go right back to what I'm doing, and I'm in the gym Monday morning, and then I fast all day and eat a couple chicken tacos for dinner, and I'm done. Like, and that's where like that 1 or 2 days of having a little bit of fun, if you're staying with what you're doing all week, it really doesn't mess with it much. But
Yeah.
it's finding that balance of 80-20, not like, because I would just engorge myself with, like, I would eat until I literally was sick. Always. Like, I felt like I was never going to eat again. Like, I was ordering food like I was never going to order another meal again.
Never going to eat again.
And it was kind of developed with, we had those cards. So we would do that at lunch, where we would go order a bunch of shit. And it was like, oh, let's order 3 appetizers. And then everyone's ordering these outlandish meals, and you're drinking 3, 4, 5 Cokes at lunch. And it's like, well, yeah, no wonder you get up to 300 pounds. Like, I was just, and then like, I think I've talked about this before, like, I'm eating fast food on a daily fucking basis. I'm drinking only pop, like water was not even a thought. And now that's all I drink. But it's taken me about 2 years, and I don't plan on stopping. Like, now I'm to that point where I never want to go back. And obviously I was fat as shit.
Yeah.
But this weather is changing tremendously.
Yeah. Well, like that body dysmorphia thing, I used to have it when I was a younger man and not married. And then as soon as I got married, I was like, oh, fuck it, I don't care. Like, we're good.
Well, it's not even about like that for me. It's just like,
well, and that the problem with me was I was always strong as shit. And,
yeah.
But when you go to the Arnold, you see these those guys, and it's like, well, I'm stronger than that guy and that guy and that guy, but I don't look anything like that. Why is that? Why is that? Well, then I found out about strongmen and all that, which I don't do at all. But I was like, all right, that's more my body type. And then I was like, I just came to the realization, it's like, okay, I'm just big. I'm just a big person. I don't know how that happened, because in school I was little.
Yeah.
And then I got big.
But I had the same thing with wrestling, where you watch it and they're like weighing in at 200 pounds. And I'm like, that 200 pounds look way different than my 200 pounds. Like that. But like, same thing, like you would be comparable to what? Like a Drew McIntyre size? Like that big, like
I'm more comparable to Hulk Hogan, because in WWF he was 303, I'm 312. So
pretty, but like
a little more plumper.
But if you look at that, and like obviously you wouldn't even have to super focus on your diet. Like you could just hone in pretty well on your diet, but start like really like hitting the walking or getting back into the gym on a level that you want to do, if that makes sense, and start building. And like that wouldn't, with your like wild genetics that you have, you would get there. Like if you really stuck to it for a year, like if you just made that like your, like if you took pictures every day for the next year of you just like not even going like full bore into it, like just pretty much paying attention to it, maybe like a 70-30, 60-40 kind of diet. You're in the gym 3 days a week, but like you cut out a couple different things. Like I think you would be very, very surprised year over year what you would look like. Like you would have like that Braun Strowman style look within a year. Like I don't even know that it would take you a year, because of like just what I've watched you do in the little bit like that you did last year, where you got like you went pretty hard there for a few months, and like you could visibly see it very, very quickly. It like you would piss people off in there, because you come in and it made no sense. You would start throwing up wild weights, and like if you actually put your mind to it and took it seriously, because I don't know, have you ever taken it like real serious?
Oh yeah, there was a time when I was playing ball. Yeah, I know. I got 10 minutes. It's a 2:15. 2:15. Yeah, my secretary.
Your assistant coming in to let you know we got a hard out today.
Well, so like when I was playing ball in the Wildcats, 2009 was my first year. I weighed 260.
Okay.
2010 rolls around, I jumped up to 285, but I turned 21, and that happened.
Yep.
Then 2011 rolled around, I started just doing a little bit, and I still stayed at 285. But 2012 rolled around, and I hit it hard. And I'm playing offensive line, and I cut down to 255. Now, and I mean the first
For
half
your
of the
body though, that almost has to be too low, isn't it? Like,
for
did you
my body,
feel like when you were down to 250? Did you feel like sluggish?
no,
That's
no.
good. Cool.
But
Because
the thing
I
was,
asked that because I get down to like the 180, 185, and I feel like I have no energy.
oh yeah, no. The weird thing was, diet didn't change too much.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I focused a little more on it. About I was just eating plain baked potatoes and chicken or steak. I was watching my calories a little bit. Like I just sit there and eat cans of tuna.
Yeah.
But then football rolled around and I'm like, all right, I'm 255. And I held my own for the most part. But I was like, oh shit, like it's harder because 2011, I was just modocking people because
Yeah.
so
Well,
by
you're
the
a
end of
little
the
easier to
season,
move.
the funny thing is by the end of the season, I was back at 285. I was like, fuck it. We're gonna just keep hitting it hard, but I'm gonna eat more. And I got 285 and then got back to where I was. I like physically with football.
Yeah.
And then that football ended, and I'm like, I got married. Like, so I got all the way down once again, went from 285, 290 back down to about 260. And that's like where I like to be, is about 260.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was looking pretty damn good. Then I kept hitting it hard, got down to under 250. I got down to about 246, 248 area. Then we found out we were pregnant with Vivian, and
Yep.
And then, she's like, "Hey, can you go?" Once again, the diet didn't really change too much. It was just I'm going to eat a little healthier, but at the same time, if I'm going to McDonald's, I'm getting me a double quarter pounder. Well, it started turning into like at 9 o'clock. She's like, "Hey, can you go to Wendy's?" Absolutely, I'll go to Wendy's.
Oh,
and I'll get her whatever she got, and then I'm getting a Baconator large combo with a large pop.
Yep.
So I went from 248 back up to 285, and I'm like, okay, I'm kind of in my dad mode now. And then I'm alternating. I stayed in that window between 260, 285, back and forth. And then once we were pregnant with Anna, I was already at that 285 mark, and it just fucking it went up. But I'm like, you know what? I may be over 300 pounds. I can still fucking move. I can still do a lot of cool
I thought
shit.
you were going to say I could still fuck, and I was like, "Yeah,
I can still do that. I mean, not as long as I used to, but I still have fun. Now I've just turned into a foot race, and I win every time. But I'm like, I can still do just about everything I can do when I was playing ball. So I'm like, yeah, I'm good.
And like for me, like I said, that was just one of my insecurities that I didn't like, so I started tackling it. But like then it turned into more about health and my brain, and like it started as a, hey, you're fat as shit, like we gotta do something, because like I'm like 5'11", and 300 pounds is a lot for a 5'11" frame, and it was not good. I am convinced I would have been dead. So that was more of the reason I started it, was that. And then like it just all spiraled from there. And I'm still convinced that if you don't fix your mentality, it's so hard to get anything else accomplished, because it's mostly discipline, and it's mostly like telling yourself no. Because if like, I mean, the shit's around all the time. Like I can drive 2 minutes down the road and go get cheeseburgers, tacos, whatever the hell I want. Now chicken, like, well, maybe there seem to be quite some lines over there, but the new chicken place.
Oh, Churches?
Yeah. We have a new one.
I didn't know they were open.
I'm not going to go there for about a week or two until everyone else goes.
I got to try it. You got to at least try it.
Well, it's very good. I used to, when I worked up in Indy, that was a go-to, and it is very, very good. They have these like honey butter biscuit thingies that are, I think that's where it was. Pretty sure that's who it is, but they're quite delicious.
I'll have to, like, I'm kind of excited to try it, but fried chicken, it's not like I only get fried chicken if I go to my mom's house on a certain day. It's not like
I haven't had fried chicken
every day. I'm just
that's a tough one on the arteries if you're having that one every day.
I don't like. I'm almost in my older age. I don't even like bone chickens. Like I'm boneless now. Every now and then
Yeah.
I'll get wings with traditional wings, but 9 times out of 10 I'm getting boneless because I'm like I'm tired of. I don't want to have to work to eat.
Yeah, I have to go traditional wings always. I'm not I can't do the breading on the boneless anymore. I make it about 4 wings in, and I actually ordered wings, etc. not too long ago, and I ordered they had like a mix thing. So I was like, ooh, that doesn't sound bad. And then whatever I don't eat, my daughter loves boneless wings. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh, whatever I don't eat, I'll just save for her. I opened up the container of the boneless wings and almost hurled. So I did not eat any of them because I couldn't do. I don't know what it is. It's like there's the breading to chicken ratio is not great in most cases where it's like this thick ass fried breading and then you get the chicken. B-dub
Yeah.
is usually pretty solid, but
When I go there now, I don't get wings too very often when I went backwoods. But I get that Baron chicken sandwich
okay.
with just a side of barbecue, and then we get broccoli, and then we'll split an order of tater tots. But
Ooh, there you go. See, we
I
always do
mean,
the cheese curds.
I do like they also have that big salad. I don't even remember what the hell it is, what it's called, the name of it, but it's good. And it's a lot of
Wings?
huh?
Is that wings?
Yeah,
I believe it is a huge jazz salad.
that might be what it is.
Or maybe that's another one. There is
They got a
something
wedge. They have a big
jazz.
wedge. I don't get that. It's the one with the bacon and the eggs and
Needs some
shit on it.
protein.
It's pretty good. So I recommend that. But like I said, I'm mindful. Now if I go to fast food, there's no good option in fast
Well,
food.
yeah,
Like
you're
just go have fun.
that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I think too, if you're doing that every once in a while, it's fine. It's when you're in that cycle of it being your source of food every day. That's not a great way to go about life, and you end up a 300-pound person who's going to die by the time they're 50, like I did.
Yeah, no, I'm going to be a 300-pound guy that's going to live forever.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't learn shit from Super Size Me apparently because I went right into that world and thought I could.
I remember watching that documentary, and I was like, man, I got so lucky. I want to do that. I think I attempted it. I did it for not every meal, but the McRib. When the McRib first came back, when I got on TikTok, man, I was having 2 McRibs a night for at least because I'm going to do a McRib video for 30 days. Then I realized how much that costs, and I think I did it for like 10.
Okay, why don't we go like a health thing video for 30 days and let's see what that does.
Well, that
Maybe
fun.
we try.
Sounds fun. Like
no,
I eat salads and stuff, but nobody wants me to eat salad. They're
like, I think it was the Dr. Pepper and the Pepsi that were next to the salad that might have been the problematic portion.
I didn't even drink those. That was just for sure.
I did drink just for the picture.
But that was just for the picture because I had some leftover cans. I'm like, all right, this.
It made me laugh.
Well, it's like the 90s, man. Give me a large number 3 and then a Diet Coke to cancel it all out. That's not how this works.
I don't even do that anymore. If I'm going, we're going diesel. I'm not. We're not even going diet.
No, there's probably so much other bad crap in the diet thing that you're safer going diesel.
You're getting the chemicals regardless. Like you're gonna. The only time really I'll get a Coke anymore is if we go do the like we did last night and get Chavez the $1.25 tacos, and I'll do the bottled Coke there every once in a while. And it's
is it the Coca-Cola or is it the Doritos or whatever?
Nope, it's the Coca-Cola in like the little glass bottle with the pop top, and I'll do that every once in a while if I'm feeling froggy, but that same thing. I drink it. It doesn't hurt my stomach near as much as like a McDonald's Coke, but it's like I get done and I feel like I'm belching every 2 seconds and my stomach hurts, and it's like, oh, yep, don't do that.
Yeah, well, that happens. But I got to get going.
You got to go.
Yeah, I got to pee too. So.
Well, let's run through sponsors real quick, and then we will look out.
Let's thank our gold sponsors: Pappy's Barbecue Meat, Eat, Repeat. RJ's Formal Wear. They have sweet suits. Wabash Valley Plumbing. They lay pipe. Peak Performance Gym. No peak, no results.
And you can get a trainer and not tweak your back muscle like I did.
Stitch Brands. They embroider stuff.
I'm currently trying to push this up against. I almost went and I almost had to lose a layer of clothing to sit on this thing because the hoodie in between it does not fucking help with the. There's no heat. I have clothes on underneath,
Had to
but
sit on this thing.
I'm wearing a tank top, and it was one of those that it was like, I'll just leave it on and get whatever heat I can get from it.
Well, you have fun sitting on that thing. I'm going to go to the doctor. So
what a way to end it.
We're out of here. Keep pushing. Love you.
Love you.